Hey guys, little bit of a special video today because we just got a lot of really interesting news about upcoming season 2 and Canto 4 for Limbus, and I wanted to go over it because it's a lot. I've only kind of briefly gone over it right now. I haven't like fully taken a look at it in depth, so I'm just gonna do that now. As you can see, there's kind of 10 parts to this, and I'll just kind of go through them. So, I mean, the first part is it's going to commence June 1st at 12 p.m. Korean Standard Time. Pretty much the normal time next week, Thursday Korean time. And of course, a lot of the stuff is conception and development, so none of this is for certain. Scheduled maintenance is going to happen 12, 6 to... Wait, let me check to make sure I'm not messing this up. Hopefully this isn't too bothering. So 10, okay, yeah, so it's ending at the normal time, that's true, but it's starting when this the weekly update normally happens. So that's gonna be 6 hours of maintenance, which sounds fair enough, because this is going to be probably a lot. So, content, I'm not gonna go over this, because we're gonna see it in time. I should not be rolling this too much. Is this... Yeah, this will be good, I think, hopefully. So, first things first, this is just going to be... We've already known about this, but so half of the season's Egoshards are carried over, and the other half is just getting turned into threads, same for Egoshard crates. So effectively, it's going to show it here, but effectively you can see if you had, say, 5 Yisong shards, it'll become 3 and the other 2 gets converted to thread, or if you had 200 Sinclairs, you get 100 Sinclair for Season 2 and 100 Thread. Stuff like that. Yeah, the pop-up's gonna show so you know. Make sure that if you want to buy anything, you do it before the season switches over. Just so that you don't get rolled on that department. And it's automatically done, so don't worry about losing anything. Don't feel like inclined to thread all of your shards so you don't lose any, because it'll be done automatically. And here, yeah. The story's being added in 3 parts, 1 every week for the first 3 weeks of June. And as you can see, the other part of this is that, so the Season 2 Battle Pass, you won't be able to get all the rewards from the start. You'll be able to get up to level 20 rewards with the first part, up to 40 with the second part, and up to max, and then the plus max from the third part. However, you can still, level up past the limit. The only thing is you just can't claim or see the rewards for the future things. So if you're unsure about buying the Battle Pass, you might want to wait until the full thing is out, just so you can see all of the egos and whatnot. Yeah. June 15th update's gonna have everything. And here. So, I need to stop doing that. This is the first time I've done this, so I'm messing up a little bit, but that's fine. So, Refraction Railway Line 2 is being added mid-July, and what they're going to do when they add Refraction Railway 2 is that's when we're going to be getting our next level of Threadspin. So, or Uptie and Threadspin, I should say. So in order to get something to tier 4, you need Thread and you need that Sinner's Egoshards. So, it's going to be a little bit more risky to spend a bunch of Egoshards at once, because you're going to need them to Uptie and Threadspin your people. And also, with the update next week, max level cap is being increased to 35. That still seems rather low. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, the final update's going to increase the cap to 40, but I don't know for sure. It really depends on how much this is going to scale. Like, we can see here from this... I need to stop zooming in. We can see here from this image that, so Liu Honglu, he's getting a 13 HP increase and a 4 defense level increase. And I don't know how much of an increase that is to the skill damage, but it seems like a decent increase, but not too much. I think if you had all your units at level 30, I don't really think you'd need to level it up to defeat level 35 enemies. And here's another big thing. Ideality. So, banners from now on are going to have Ideality. So basically, whenever you perform extractions, you'll gain a certain amount of Ideality for that specific banner. Each banner has its own tracker of Ideality. And if you reach a certain amount of Ideality, you can just get a guaranteed 3-star identity or ego from that extraction. So it's effectively a more lenient pity mechanic compared to just buying stuff with shards. If you just pull enough and you don't get lucky, then, well, you can just get what you want instead of having to worry. And your remaining Ideality is converted to thread. I assume in a 1-for-1 manner, but it's hard to tell. We don't know how much Ideality you'll gain, or like, and we also don't know like just how much it'll convert to thread. I assume 1-to-1 though. And then so season changes. This is stuff we've vaguely known. So from random extractions, they're going to be making it so in season 2, you'll no longer be able to extract the season 1 event stuff, which is just in this case you're only missing out on RB Ryoshu and Soup Sinclair, which isn't too bad. Hopefully you've gotten those by now. If you haven't, make sure you get them within the next week, because well, it may be hard to get it back. And you can see instead they're going to be adding the new Season 2 stuff into the pool. You'll still be able to get the regular and Season 1 IDs from the random pool. So, yeah, these two, the only ones you can lose. If you have any assured Season 1 tickets, which I think you can only get from certain packs, or I think you got one by... I think you just got one by beating Refraction Railway 1, although there's a decent chance you've spent it by now, depending on whether or not you decide to save it. And so the Dispenser is a little different, though. So in the Dispenser, you won't be able to get the Season 1 event stuff or the Season 1 IDs at all. So things like Grip Faust, Ncorp Mersault, Ting Tang Honglu, anything that it counts as a Season 1 identity, you'll no longer be able to purchase with Egoshards. You'll still be able to find them in random extractions, but, I mean, there's so many identities, your chances of getting it if you're only missing one are bad. So absolutely make sure you have all of these if you don't already. And added to the catalog are the Season 1 Pass Ego. However, it seems that they're not being added to the actual extractions. I thought they would be, but I guess not. Hard to say. But yeah, all of these will be able to be purchased with Egoshards. So if you never bought the Battle Pass, you'll finally be able to get some of the ones you missed. And here we are, Mirror Dungeon 2. This is, of course, the big part for me because I do a lot of Mirror Dungeons. So learning about this is exciting. So Mirror Dungeon number 2 will be added on June 22nd, which is the update after the third Canto 4 update. And so it's going to have these requirements: clearing Mirror Dungeon 1, simple enough, and clearing the main story, Chapter 4. Now, there's a couple things here. I won't go over what's happening in the image because we'll be able to see it earlier. It calls this Mirror of the Second, but second is lowercase, so this is either just a placeholder name that was done by, assumably, the translators, because, I mean, it wouldn't be in English. Or maybe it's just going to... Maybe it will still just be Mirror of the Second, but, like, properly capitalized when the actual update comes out. Hard to say. And so they're reworking how the cost is going to work in order to actually get all this stuff. So... because you currently need 3 Enkephalon modules to enter it, or you can just do a practice one and you won't have to spend any. But from now on, Enkephalon modules will not be... from now on, excuse me. When this update is added, you'll no longer need Enkephalon modules to enter, but instead you can spend them at the end to either claim your rewards or not. So it's effectively the same system of either a practice one or a real one, except you choose whether it's a practice or a real one when it ends, which is very nice. However, it does say daily free entry is going to be removed within this update, so you'll no longer be able to do free ones a day, which is fine. Kinda rough, since I've already gotten so used to doing one a day for the past while. But that's fine. So, weekly bonuses 3 times per week as before. However, this has been changed a fair bit. I'll zoom out for this so you can see the entire thing here. Yeah. But so, instead, Mirror Dungeon 1, same amount of lunacy, Battle Pass experience being decreased from 20 to 15. which makes sense. There's better options now, so chances are you really aren't going to do Mirror Dungeon 1 unless you're either not powerful enough for Mirror Dungeon 2 or you just want a faster one or something like that. And you can also notice no longer be able to get Egoshard crates. So go over that in a little bit, but just keep that in the back of your mind. And if you can see here, Mirror Dungeon 2 gives a whopping 45 Battle Pass experience, and Mirror Dungeon 2 Hard is going to be 75, which is 7.5 Battle Pass levels. Effectively, like, one of these is equal to an eighth of the entire Battle Pass. That's partially why you no longer get Egoshard crates from this, because you're going to be getting so many Battle Pass levels from this. The single hard Mirror Dungeon, once you get to the end, is just going to give you so many nominal Egoshard crates from the max Battle Pass rewards. Without bonus, they're actually going to be buffing it so that the base one is a full level, number 2 is 3 full levels, and hard is still 5 full levels, even without the bonus. And yeah, here it is. So the Egoshard stuff that you get from Mirror Dungeon instead of the Battle Pass. So now the Battle Pass has 285 more nominable Egoshard crates than compared to Season 1, which is a lot. That's effectively 500 something shards on average. And yeah, you can also see, yeah, just saying the fact that changing pass experience and the amount of nodes per floor, max enemies in first floor entry. And we can see here, for Mirror Dungeon 2, the main thing is it's going to cost 5 modules to enter instead of 3. You gain more pass experience, but there's 5 floors, and you start with 5 identities. However, the node amount doesn't increase too much, because it's effectively 50% longer if you just based off the nodes. Instead of 5, 7, 8, it's 5, 5, 6, 6, 8. And the hard dungeon is the same thing except with a slightly higher cost and more experience. And also, it now reflects identity's real level. So you no longer level up mid-mirror dungeon. You start at your identity's real levels. Yeah. Sorry, it's just a lot to going through my mind. I'm thinking so much because there's a lot of info here. Let's see. Also coming with Mirror Dungeon 2 are new systems related to the dungeons and a lot of quality of life features. Alright, so starting off, new resource cost introduced to Mirror Dungeons. So basically, you're getting a set amount of cost to build your stuff at the beginning of the team. I assume something like maybe it'll cost more to bring a 3-star than a 2-star, to bring a He Ego than a Teth Ego, stuff like that. And you gain more cost through combat encounters and events. So it is effectively the replacement for getting levels. And you can see it allows you to deploy more identities in Ego, or partake in shop events. So now you're going to actually be able to find shop events in the Mirror Dungeons, and where you can spend cost to purchase Ego gifts, heal up, and recruit sinners. And also starter buffs. So starter buffs are something that... So it's saying here that they can be activated using a currency obtained by clearing Mirror Dungeons, but it doesn't specify what. So I think this is something we'll learn more about the line. But effectively, you'll be able to get some sort of modifier at the start of your Mirror Dungeon runs. I assume it'll be something like similar to an Ego gift. Like maybe you'll get something that makes it so you inflict more burn with all your sinners. Or maybe something that makes it so Pierce damage is stronger. Stuff like that. It doesn't say though, so that's just kind of a little thing to keep in mind for the future. And yeah, here it's saying that your identity levels are fixed at certain values upon entry, and then power-up events are no longer going to be removed. However, Mirror Dungeon 1, all identities are fixed at 30. So at Mirror Dungeon 1, all identities are set to 30, and in Mirror Dungeon 2, all identities are set to 35. But Mirror Dungeon 2 Hard is the one that actually uses their original levels. I mean, that's fine by me, because I've got all my identities level 30, thanks to spending... well, a lot of Ego modules, or Encapsulin modules, but also content. 45 new Ego gifts, and 25 new events. So that assumably means there's going to be 25 new abnormalities alongside their respective Ego gifts, and also 20 Ego gifts that aren't assigned to any of the new abnormalities. Possibly they'll be based on ones from Lobotomy Corp or Runa, or maybe some... I think there's a decent chance some of the new events will have multiple Ego gifts. Maybe, like, if you choose one thing, you'll get something for Burn. If you choose the other thing, you'll get something for Rupture. Kind of similar to what they tested with the Hell's Chicken dungeon. And yeah, new abnormalities and enemies. which makes it sound like the Mirror Dungeon are gonna have some more exclusive things. Kinda similar to how, like, right or at least at the start, Headless Ichthys and, the Telepole Dog, or Alleyway Watchdog, that's the one, were, exclusive to the Mirror Dungeons before being added to Luxcavation later down the line. And yeah, quality of life features, you can now use presets for your Mirror Dungeon runs. Very nice. Ego Threadspins shown during deployment, Ego Gifts, and event choice results are easier to check. So maybe it'll be something that if you've chosen an option before, it'll tell you how successful to be, what you get for it. Something like that. Yeah, shows their outcome in advance and subsequent encounter. Events are reflected before. Direction to progress displayed. I assume that means it indicates more clearly whether or not you're moving right or left on the map, because that can be kind of confusing. I can see how some people had issues with that. I certainly have in the past. And ego resources are fully carried over, so no more that, like, oh, your amount of ego resource at the end of each fight is halved, and that's how many you bring to the next battle. Which does mean that there is going to be a lot more of a reason to save up egos. And yeah, so Mirror Dungeon Hard is going to be added the week after Mirror Dungeon 2. And it's the only requirement it has is to beat the first Mirror Dungeon 2. And so the hard Mirror Dungeons have a weekly reward limited 3 times independently of the other 2 Mirror Dungeons. So effectively, 3 times per week you can get normal Mirror Dungeon rewards, and 3 times per week you can get hard Mirror Dungeon rewards. By the weekly bonus when claiming clear rewards from Mirror Dungeon 2 hard 3 times. Yeah, basically what it said. And here's the comparison between Mirror Dungeon 2 and Mirror Dungeon hard. So Identity level 35, but in the hard one it'll reflect their actual levels. Costs 5 in 2 and costs 6 in hard. 45, 75, 30, 35. There's no limit to how many times you can claim rewards from Mirror Dungeon 2, but there is a limit to how many rewards you can claim from Mirror Dungeon 2 hard. So, it is a... Oh, I see. So yeah, you can apply the weekly bonus when claiming your rewards. Oh, I see. So you physically only can do Mirror Dungeon 2 hard 3 times per week and gain rewards from it 3 times per week. And you can choose whether or not you use the multiplier there or if you use it for the other dungeons. Okay, so it isn't like fully separate. It's kind of hard to tell here. It's being a little bit vague. So weekly reward limit. So only 3 times no matter what. But you can, yeah. So it works like that. So just to reiterate, because I've spoken a lot about this, just to make sure it's clear what it seems like it actually is. So it's going to work the same as before. You get the weekly reward the first 3 times you use it per week. However, there's a separate counter for the hard Mirror Dungeon, so you only physically can gain rewards from 3 times per week, but they still will be able to use the normal Mirror Dungeon's reward bonus. It's still 50 if you don't use the reward bonus, but it's 75 to use the reward bonus, and you don't gain the special reward bonus on top for the normal Mirror Dungeons on top of that. Alright. So, customization for profile certificate being added next week. 7 colors provided by default, and you can earn various decorations. A little vague on what it means by decorations. I assume it means you can change this to be other things, which I think is a good touch. The egos kind of look awful to set them as your actual banner thing because of the fact it's just kind of a solid... Oh no, it means this, doesn't it? Oh yeah, because this is already sloth. It doesn't mean customizing it. It means customizing, like, the red part here. Still doesn't seem to be an ability to actually set your, like, name, which is... that's fine. And also, this is something that really doesn't matter, but they're saying they're preparing a UI, UX overhaul around the time of the Chapter 5 update, so they're just going to make it a lot easier to move around the menu, which makes sense. They did that quite a couple times for Ruina. The UI at the start of the Ruina was very different from the UI at the end of Ruina. For the menuing, I guess, not the in-battle UI. Yeah, they'll continuously work on optimization. Hopefully that goes well. I've got an oldish phone, so it can run Limbus, but it can't actually do any of the fights because it'll crash. So I kind of just use it to, like, check daily stuff if I'm ever not able to access my computer. Yes, with Season 2 update, you'll be able to customize your profile ticket. Season 2 supplies, so you can do your one-time purchase of this if you want. I didn't get the really big one for the first season. I don't really want to, but it definitely can be worth it if you feel the need. And yeah, that is all for this. Let me check. I'm turning the screen black just so I can check to see if Project Moon's posted anything else. We might get something new, but I think that'll be all for now. But yeah, thank you for watching this little event breakdown type thing. A patch note breakdown type thing. I'll probably do these for big patch notes in the future. I really haven't in the past because it's kind of been minor-ish things, but this one was big enough that I couldn't just not comment on it. So yeah, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.